Hi there. Here is a video. I'm going to play the basis of the riff. John Bonham used to do this riff in the earlier days, which he wouldn't do very long, but he made it really kind of famous, at least to diehard drum freaks like ourselves. In the song remains the same album version of. Actually, it's on the. It's also in the movie. I know that sounds silly. Go back and look up a thing called the Garden Tapes. There's actually a lot of different piecings together that are actually really cool about that movie. But that's why I don't mean to be disrespecting any particular version. There's in the fill at the end of Rock and Roll. He throws in that. And that work, somebody had mentioned, like, hey, you know, could you work on that? And I'd always was like, well, this is just what it is. But I always found myself slipping into other things. Like, I don't necessarily isolate it, I guess. So I've kind of been working on it a little, but I've realized it is actually a straight up great exercise because do you know what do they call them, a palindrome? Like Abel was I saw Alba. The race car, I think, is another one. Anyway, what this is, it's almost like a palette in the sense that you're doing the exact same thing with your right side and your left side is a mirror image of each other, okay? This is recording, right? All right. So, the fill-in question, you know what he goes, see, I can't even really isolate. I know this sounds so horrible, but the point, it takes a minute for me. That's not it. That's it right there. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually, for me, in a weird sort of probably Asperger's-y type way, I actually, like, it takes me a minute, kind of, no matter how hard I think about that, to kind of tune into it. I know that sounds, it's just true, though. And I also moved the floor tom way over here so you can see the pedal. So, okay, so slow. Hang on, from the top. See, now I just threw myself off. From the top. Ba boom, da da boom, ba ba boom, ba. It's bizarro. Hence, that's why in the video you see the. And actually, you know what? That's not even the fill he's doing. And I'm going to leave this in the video. This is being left in the video because there's like 4 different fills that he does here. Hang on. It's like, okay, that's it, right? Okay, God, for the love of God. Okay, so you have your hands going, which is the same as when we do a triplet, let's say a left-right lead. Okay? Or a right-hand lead. I naturally do left. A lot of work I put into that right one. Anyway, it's the same with that fill. Okay? Ba ba boom boom ba boom. Right? I mean, but what happens is this is one of those classic things where, to me, why it throws me off is when I do it really slow. I see it as a totally different thing. I don't really see it musically. Then suddenly I play it faster. I'm like, oh, that's what it is. I think there's a lot of, like, we talk about the, you know, the beginning of, like, Missy Mountain Hop and rock and roll. You know, oftentimes I'm susceptible to, like, odd intros like that, kind of like seasick to some people. In fact, I'm very seasick. I get seasick easily, but I fall for that stuff real easily. So, anyway, so here's that fill again, and there's actually something else, because technically, well, I'll explain. So, okay, left, right, bass drum, right, left, bass drum, left, right, bass. So it's like a sandwich. One and a, two and a, one and a, two and a. Okay, so it's even though then after you loop it, you can play it in 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, and the cool thing is you go back and forth between 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2. Not the way it's actually stick, but in your perception of time, kind of like if you're going. Okay, if you practice those individually, it's good to do that because you'll perceive it a certain way, and then you go back and you try and marry the two feelings of the beats. I know that sounds so crazy. All right, but it's true. Okay, so fast. Now, do you see that? He might be doing something else. See, I actually think he's going not. Okay, but anyway, I'm going to go with this because I'm a melon head. God, you know, that's hard. Anyway, the point is, let's go back to the original thing. If I put the hi-hat in, then it goes back to the original palindromic marrying of the two fills. Da-da-da-da-da-da. 1 and a 2 and a. So, da-da-da-da-da-da. Don't mind me. That fill I'd be leaving out is actually part of the pattern. But anyway, so check it out. Make a melody out of it. But then you see it mathematically, like 1 E and you know, you'll break it up like 1 E and E and 3 E and then, in other words, but it's better if you're already playing it in triplet and you go there because you don't have to start it from scratch and mess it up like I would every time. Well, let me see if I can try doing it. Hang on, I should probably back up my. I'm rushing a little bit. That, I think, is what he's... There were always two options for me. So I'm sort of cursorily looking at the end of rock and roll and kind of see what he's doing. The song remains the same version in those last seconds where it almost makes... It sounds like the fill's still going on, but there's almost like somebody else accenting over the top. Especially when you hear it. When you see him actually play it, to me, I always felt like when I saw it live, I was always surprised at first kind of how, not shabby the stage looked, but I was expecting in my mind's eye this big thing, because I'd always see the big stages from '75 in the pictures, you know? But when you see him play it, you really see what he does, although I haven't seen the movie for a long time. But anyway, bear with me, because he might also be doing this. So the one I just did... That, you work your whole, well, you get the hi-hat in. Yeah, and of course your feet are just going. Okay, so it's the full, of course, palindromic, full right side, right brain, left brain. Okay, it's a great workout, even apart from Bonhamville. See, that might be it, but you know, I technically got to accent it properly. See how loud he'd get there? And I have a hard time doing that because I have a shitty left hand. You know, I'm about to explode this knuckle on the snare drum, so be careful here. A lot of the secret of Bonham's fills when he did stuff and the way it gave it its character is that he had a very strong left hand. My left hand's actually, in strength-wise, I think a little stronger than my left, but I have what I mean is by strength, I mean like control. You know what I mean? Which I don't, my whole left half's a little funny. But he'd be able to go like, he's hitting them all harder. That's why Bonham's right hand goes up. He's accenting it, right? Anyway, so that, again, that fill. Or pattern. I think $1 million pattern for practicing to play the drums. Even it might not even take that much technique. It's just a total, absolute brain clearing out. Let's get everything in order and everything running. You know, all Freddie Gruber like. You know. Okay, but the other fill could be. Yeah, I'm such a melon for doing this. Pulling a bass drum note out. See that? Instead of going. Getting that one out. Oh, hang on, now I can't stop it. Yeah. You know, so you're just going da-da-do, do-do-do, da-da-do. I'm sorry, just one bass drum note. You know he does that? Like in the Heartbreaker. In one of the versions of Heartbreaker, he's like... So it's just... But he'd loop it. At the ends of... Oh, hang on, don't say anything, hang on. I'm making a video, hang on. Great, hopefully this is good. Hopefully it was good enough. See you soon.